Hello. Good to see you all here. My name is Ravi Chandra, and thank you again to Mark Mayer and Coral Reef of the Asian Art Museum for inviting me to speak. I'm especially honored because today is Nelson Mandela's 95th birthday. And yeah, let's hear it. And I think all of us who have shared the earth with Mandela are a collection of sorts as well. The Mandela generations, linked by his amazing spirit and vision. And the group of us gathered here today are a collection of people. And furthermore, each of us individually is a collection. And I'm a psychiatrist, so that's why I can talk about this. I'm a collection of parts, a multitude of selves. They play inside me like precocious elves. A warrior battles, a peacemaker works, a heart-mind bureau with tireless clerks. A woman, a child, an adversary, a friend, critics and supporters and actors with ends. Healer and patient, trickster and mole, they observe, they comment, they sometimes control. An emergence, a symphony, a chorus, a blend, a circus I carry, a circle I mend. Admirers with whispers, detractors with swords, this collection is work, I'm never bored. Fractious and playful, serious and fun, interdependent we are, from many we're one. Each of us is a collection of selves, and today I'm going to wear several hats. An Oliver Sacks hat, a biologist's hat, a psychiatrist's hat, and a poet's hat. A collection of hats. A collection starts out of a fondness for things, but often the fondness is a remnant of underlying motives that are lost in evolutionary and psychological history. We do things and forget why we do them. The bowerbird of Australia and New Guinea is known for its unique courtship behavior, which involves the male bird collecting sticks and brightly colored objects to create a bower and attract a mate. Wikipedia says underperforming males are left without copulations. That really got my attention. Crows collect aluminum foil and hangers for their nests. Rats will preferentially collect glass beads, even over food pellets. Squirrels hoard food beyond their needs. It's not a big step to see how humans have subconscious or conscious drives to gather things, to build an attractive nest and display their status, refinement, or wealth, or how humans might hoard items to feel more safe and secure. We're also curious creatures prone to obsessions and fascinations. Children collect. 70% of children under the age of 6. Thomas the Train and Anything Locomotive, Matchbox cars, Cinderella dolls, action figures, rubber ducks, Barbie, manga. My mother, who grew up in modest circumstances in a village in India, says life wasn't luxurious, an understatement. But even she played with utensils and collected doll clothes in matchboxes and soap boxes, thimble-sized saris she played with in the times of the Great Depression and war. I love children's books, gateway drugs to everything else that followed. Dr. Seuss led to doctoring, surely. Stamp collecting became a portal to different countries, turning into a love of cultures and travel. Science fiction and books on stars turned into a lifelong love of science. Amar Chitra Katha comic books illustrated Indian history, myth, and religion. So much is new and interesting to the child's mind, beginner's mind, collector's mind, the mind in recollection. Our childhood fantasies, obsessions, and collections enlarged our worlds, drawing us beyond what seemed narrow confines. Hoarding disorder is a new diagnosis in the DSM. Clearly, collecting can become pathological, causing distress and impairment. There is a spectrum of collecting behavior which ranges from the Antiques Roadshow to the hoarders in television terms. 2 to 5% of the population meets criteria for hoarding disorder. A friend told me about Vietnamese refugees, some of whom hoard documents about the war. A Vietnamese man, refugee, sits in his fortress of newsprint, black and white arsenal to keep fighting a war that didn't end. He lost a country, but holds his soul in folds of paper soldiers that wail for Saigon, breathe for Saigon, Saigon. Saigon has gone, except in this room, this shelter, this altar, this elaborate defense. We can learn from some extreme examples. A man who had bilateral damage to his orbital and polar prefrontal cortex began collecting household electrical appliances. He was singularly devoid of most motivation except the urge to buy and store these items. He collected 35 TV sets and telephones, refrigerators, vacuum cleaners, washing machines, and VCRs, filling up his house, cellar, and even ventilation shafts. After damage to the mesial prefrontal cortex, some people became pathological collectors, accumulating disruptive quantities of useless objects. Most people with such damage don't collect per se, they simply grab whatever's close at hand, food, pens, etc. People with brain injury have been described to hoard furniture, lawn ornaments, tools, magazines, junk mail, napkins, sugar packets, and anything that fits into pants pockets and purses, scattered corn from nearby fields, clothes, records, movies, books, empty matchbooks, empty boxes that once held bathroom supplies and other household items, gum wrappers, manual and electrical can openers, old mattresses, and bowling balls. This kind of hoarding involves disinhibition of subcortical impulses. The prefrontal cortex normally inhibits these impulses. Damage to the prefrontal areas is disinhibiting. Temporarily turning off parts of the prefrontal cortex has been tied to creativity as well. Thus, collecting can be seen as a kind of creativity, and creativity is a kind of collecting. In collecting, we prune, hone, and develop impulsivity. We highlight and explore an area in depth, the same in creativity. There is intimacy here, an interesting blend of the spiritual and material, a way to know the world in some depth and feel both unique and connected. She lingered over her gathered objects like they were photos in a baby album, her romance with the world personified, the children born of her drive to collect and the world's ample breast. But I have a great fondness for the opposite impulse, to lessen the hold material possessions have on me. We can collect symbols of the transcendent, but ultimately the symbols of the transcendent are not the transcendent itself. They are only placekeepers or gateways, signifiers, not the signified. We can't just live, though. We must accrue. What we choose to accrue, wisdom, knowledge, or a collection of things, says a lot about what we treasure most. Collections inspire memories, recollection. Recollection is also another translation for sati, or mindfulness. A collection is an obsession of possession. Develop a taste, acquire a taste, activate a fascination. Decorate your bower like the bower bird. Mesmerize a mate or muse. Amuse them with your story of stuff. Gather your flock on a collecting expedition. Fish for the strings that connect you. You can become what you own, or think so. Having objects can enlarge you. You can stabilize your sense of self in bright, shiny things, in art, in souvenir, in soft, pillowy madeleines of memorabilia that reverse the flow of time. Mindfulness is sati, meaning recollection. If you can recollect all that you really are, you wouldn't need any damn thing. You'd be your own bower, a hermit crab in his shell, outlasting the kings in their castles. Just shuffling along, minding your own business, minding the universe on your back and the stars in your empty, open hands. Thank you. And I hope you'll sign up for quarterly announcements. I have a website, ravichandramd.com, and copies of my book, A Fox Peeks Out, are on sale in the gift shop. Thank you.